plays a position 5 hero that has a built-in save, so pretty much every single time I watch them play, it's this Oracle, it's a Warlock, or it's Venge, and he really knows how to play these heroes. Like, he's insanely good, his positioning in team fights, he understands what he needs to do, what his job is, and I've been really impressed the way he's been playing throughout the whole tournament.
Yeah, Oracle in general, like, I would say there's two top-tier supports the whole tournament, Rubik and Oracle. I mean, and they both are quite opposite in what they do. Rubik is, yo, we want to fight, we want to take all these big ults from them, but Oracle is just a main healing man, and I guess that's just because of the purge stuff, right? I mean, Darkseer is big, gotta purge that. Grimstroke stuff, purge that. So, speaking of Grimstroke, what do you think? Follow up on men? They've been playing it.
Possibly, even though having Grimstroke and Enchantress as your position, like, 4 and 5 doesn't seem too good. You want to have a good chase potential when you have Doom in your team, and these heroes don't really provide it.
Sure. Guess we need some nice stuns for Ember as well.
You need some kind of a lockdown, some kind of silent. Grimstroke has all of that. Like, Grimstroke is one of my favorite position 5 heroes right now because he has a leash, he has a silence, a stun, wave clear, you name it. He has pretty much everything. Pretty easy hero to play overall. Would you agree?
Easy is a word. I mean, it's not hard, but the hardest about Grimstroke is not just stealing farm. I mean, the fate is so strong. You just jack as much as possibly can.
Oops. I took that. As we keep on moving forward, we're going to see if we do actually get to see the Grimstroke here. You talk about kind of enabling chase potential on the side of 5 men to enable Doom more. Is there anything in particular that you want to see, Lacoste?
Was that upon Doom more? They already have Doom. It was not.
I don't think
just
that's
too
the
sleepy.
definition of a pun either.
Well, I mean,
that would be called a brain aneurysm. all my words just melting together.
More?
Do more.
Back to the draft. They definitely need some kind of a lockdown. Navi banning out Dead Prophet, which would fit in 5 men.
Yeah. But
very nice. They have, something that kills the towers. They have a silence. They have a hero that deals well with the Prophet. They ban Alchemist. Interesting. So they were afraid that the Navi run this hero before, and they did extremely well, if I remember correctly. Like, having Alchemist in the team just messes up with the enemy timings. He comes online way too fast. So I remember they lost one of those games with Alchemist, and it looked awful.
Yeah, he was actually not good at
it. He got clipped. Yeah, I remember that one.
That's the 20-minute ratings game. That was rough stuff.
Yeah.
Rough stuff for him. But yeah, Rich, you were talking about getting momentum and getting on top of them. That's what we've seen from most of our teams that are successful against Oracle. They always have somebody that can have some way of easily piercing that backline and taking out Oracle first. I mean, this hero has just been single-handedly saving so many of these chaotic team fights in this patch so far. So right now they are a very slow team. We could use somebody that's a blink and slam kind of guy in there.
I see our Corbin ban. First thing that comes to my mind, Terrorblade, Drow Ranger. These are heroes that don't really like to play into it. And the 5 men, I mean, Ace, he's extremely good at the hero. Yesterday, in one of those games, he just fought back, the game ended. It was kind of, what's going on?
So I didn't actually pick a ranged creep.
Yeah, it's true. Look, there's one right now. But, I can't. Take over.
Yeah, well, I will say, so there are a lot of interesting things happening here. Bloodseeker, something that we talked about a whole bunch, that coming back into the meta. But I feel like Death Prophet has been something that we've needed to pay more and more attention to, especially late in the draft. You see it get locked in. But why not give 5 men the ability to DP here?
I mean, you always need to be careful about DP, especially when you're playing against 5 men, where, there's... They can run it in different positions. They can run it at position 1, position 3. All right.
What hero is that? Hello? Who are you?
Gorgon.
Gorgon. That has been a very long time since I've seen that one. Have you been seeing Doozies?
Navi ran Medusa against Hellraiser yesterday.
Yesterday.
Yeah.
My goodness. Well, Natus is an interesting pick here. They still are kind of locking down that hard stun. Tiny is great, but as we've seen so many times from Tiny before, he's got to get a good start. Like, he's got to be able to get that blink and really do those rotations to be able to make stuff happen. Who in these fights? Oracle is my question. I mean, you got to get on top of the guy. You don't want to use a Doom on him, for God's sake. Tiny has to get ahead. I don't know if it goes long enough now. They've got a real big problem. Scotty coming out would be pretty good here.
These heroes are very flexible on a 5-man, where they have Tiny, who can be ran at mid, off lane, position 4. Same goes for Medusa, mid, or the safe lane. We even see Doom most of the time lately, just being played at the mid lane. So everything's still opened up. On the other side, Bloodseeker and Windranger. This is something that Team Secret ran, and it's extremely good combo. Like, these two heroes, you have a guaranteed lockdown, shackle shot into W.
A guaranteed lockdown.
I mean, if you're good, guaranteed if you're good. Sorry about that one. I mean, it's a stun, you know.
Is it? Is it a stun or is it a bait? Is it a stun, Lacoste?
What happened with you and Windranger?
What happened with Windranger's win rate over the course of the entirety of Dota 2's existence? Not much. Still below 50%, as it always has been.
Petition Ramer to lose Ranger.
You ever go... What's your favorite casino game to play, Rich?
It's between blackjack. Jeez, I am actually having a brain injury. Blackjack and craps.
Yes, yes. Why is that, though?
Because I like to lose when I play blackjack, and I like to win when I play craps.
That's right. You have to measure the.
You have to balance it out, right? Winning is not fun if you only win. Losing is not fun if you only lose. You need a little bit of both. That's why Windranger is so essential.
No.
It balances out the Dota universe. I believe in the lore. Aghanim once said, "There can be."
Right now. No, Rich, you like craps because it gives you the most control. It gives you the house has least of a chance. Windranger's roulette. You think it's 50-50. It's black or red. But no, there's always the green.
Yeah.
There's always
the green.
Yes. There's always the chance to miss that shackle. There's no black and red. It tricks you, Rich. You're a craps man. You know, you're revenge.
When I say I'm a craps man, I have a story about that maybe that I can't tell on the panel.
So we do have that Drow Ranger band, as Lacoste was talking about. Terrorblade, however, still seems to be in the pool. Interesting. Last pick, Ruby Tuesday. Hello. Okay. This is an issue. Still, I mean, who is getting on top of these heroes? Like, are we just going for full late game, or what's the deal here? I'm too dumb.
You just want to see someone kill the Oracle. That's it. Like, just take him out first, no matter what.
It's very important. If you don't kill Oracle in this fight,
it is, but they have a lot of sustain on this lineup.
Sure.
There's no burst damage, so they can't really kill Medusa. Medusa's not threatened by these 4 heroes, so they need some kind of a possibly mana burn hero that deals well with Medusa.
Why they banned Anime?
Phantom Lancer in the pool, even though I don't think Phantom Lancer is a top tier carry at the moment. Their AoE damage is kind of limited.
Yeah.
Yeah, PL's had a tough tournament for sure.
It depends. The only thing, again, that I see PL's winning against is Timbersaw. People pick that Timbersaw thinking that they'll be able to tear him down, and then they usually rush first time Diffusal, and then it's a walk and creep. So I think almost every PL game that we've seen so far, there's been an enemy Timbersaw in it. So anyway, they're going to go for the Terrorblade as expected. We thought it'd be either Terrorblade or Drow. And the question is, though, you got these 2 big boys. Who's going to win that fight?
Who's going to get it first? That's the question.
Race to Scotty.
Scotty just completely ruins the range heroes.
These odds are about as easy. We makes this all the more interesting. On EGB.com, it looks like they're just about even, just a few small points off, making it slightly in favor of NAVI. But I want to talk about the Bloodseeker just a little bit more before I get your overall opinion on how these teams are going to win, guys.
Yeah.
I feel like the Bloodseeker the second that we saw the changes, the second that we saw the patch notes, it was really fucked. It was like,
Garbage.
Now we start to see a lot. Some teams it has looked like a fistful of hot garbage. Other teams it looks absolutely incredible. What's your take on this hero right now, especially once you are able to pair it up with things like the Wind Ranger?
When I first saw the hero and the changes, I was like, yeah, this hero is not usable. He needs a complete rework, and then someone shows you that this hero is actually viable. I don't think it's a good Bloodseeker game. He does not have that one hero he wants to kill, especially against Medusa. She's just gonna stand her ground. That's what she does. Like, you use Rupture on her, she uses Stone Gaze. That's pretty much it. Doesn't care too much about it, but the laning state, it's extremely strong lane. Me and Fox, the other Seeker and the Ranger, you just come out. The amount of magical damage you do in this lane, and Pure, of course, is just too much for sustain.
And I think Slack's already said it. One of the big things we're going to be looking for is
Do this.
out right now.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the first cast of the day. So we have that slow start. You know, we're just waking up, but an exciting start this off. NAVI versus 5 men. I think this is going to be pretty good, Lizard.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the better matches here in the Divine League, right?
Are you implying that there are worse matches?
No, I respect every team that's in the Divine League the same. Unlike some other casters that I have seen work over here.
Yourself. Yeah, how dare you talk about Slacks like that? It is honestly. All right, guys, let's get into it, shall we? As we have a Medusa lineup, the second time that Navi has, that we've seen a Medusa in these last 2 days. Navi was actually the ones to take the Medusa just yesterday, and they did it in a very similar situation, Lizard. They picked it up against the Ember Spirit.
Yeah, it looks like a pretty decent Medusa king overall. One hero that I really want to talk about even more, however, is the last pick from 5 men. I think it's a really good Rubik game. Bloodseeker, they mentioned, is really strong. Anything you steal from him, especially this Bloodright, is so good on Rubik. Yeah, it's just so good.
Oh, okay, so we're actually going to be having side lane Medusa, mid Tiny. Oh, of course, because we have the Tiny. But we are actually, I forgot, lost track of our cards. So Chassis is going to be playing that mid lane match against the Ember Spirit. I presume, like, I think this, I don't know how you feel about Bloodseeker right now, Lizard, but I am thoroughly unimpressed. It only looks good, in my opinion, when it's a really good Bloodseeker game. And that was kind of like the first time we saw it, it ended up being matched against Oracle Huskar 2 times in a row.
Yeah.
It looked really good, and everybody's like, oh, sick, this Bloodseeker hero, fantastic. But ever since then, I haven't seen another, like, good Bloodseeker game, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I feel like it's just not being picked up in the right area.
I agree with you completely, but I still think this Blood Rage in most of those games wasn't really utilized as well as it could have been. And overall, I think Hero has really high potential. Just the amount of buffs that he brings to the table with Blood Rage plus available is really sick.
Yeah.
The thing is, the hero itself won't do a lot, but it will empower one core to be that incredible that deal.
Sure. And then maybe some of what we're talking about is just the inherent problem of have Bloodseeker as the offlaner, right?
Yeah.
You're just naturally not going to get that very late into the draft, so therefore you don't necessarily know what your laning matchups are a lot of times. Here we're going to see the Medusa put it in side lane against it. I assume is going to be fine, but as well against melee heroes, and also probably is going to be taking a lot of damage and getting those thirst levels to the Bloodseeker.
Overall, good for 5 men. I'm not sure how he will do in CS apartment once the raid band or 2 on whatever he'll go for first.
Okay, maybe we spoke too soon, as Josh is just laying it east right now, and he may not die, but he's going to be really low on mana now.
That can only happen if you're too aggressive on Radiant. Like that Medusa Ace was there to try and pressure immersion. That's why he got so low.
Is he actually going to die here? You're going to be able to just running down a first blood. Okay, take back everything we said. I don't know how that happened.
Who are these garbage casters? Throw them out, please. Get.
Seriously, what happened? Like, we left the lane, full mana, full health. Come back, and all of a sudden, Bloodseeker's just fearlessly chasing her down. She's got no mana left.
Okay, so there are some lanes that you expect the team to win, but if that team is too aggressive, they can obviously get punished if they don't land the kill. I land the kill in Immersion there on the Wind Ranger, and I can't blame them because they do have heroes that do that well, but then they just got punished. Afterwards, they were out of position.
Yeah, that reminds me of we saw like a Draw Ranger versus Void Spirit matchup that didn't go so well, and I was like, man, I thought that was going to go well. And then we see it another time, and it ends up going fine. Chessie, very fine, will save his life. Young G has a healing salve coming in from the courier, so they're both going to be okay here.
Chessie has a couple of mangoes to pop as well. Like that, you can see he poses the enchant on this lane. It's actually pretty solid. You can you pick off Blood Mage? I suppose you can, but most importantly in this lane is the from injury. You can dispel it, and Immersion can't really trade as easily as he usually would like to in this hero.
Right. Maybe it just comes down to the strength of this lane as a duo, just period, right? Wind Ranger, Bloodseeker, we saw before. The second combo I think we saw with the Bloodseeker, the first one was Bloodseeker Tiny. It looks quite nice, where you've just got this like really high amount of damage that comes in from the Wind Ranger, constant harassment, a shack shot sets up a Blood Right perfectly. A lot of good things that happen here.
Yeah, this lane we didn't really touch upon at all. I actually like the Oracle versus Rubik quite a bit for Oracle, just because of the Fade Bolt, if nothing else. You can always dispel it from your core, and he won't suffer from that minus damage to when it comes to farming, that is.
Yeah, and you're one of the few fight positions, once you get to like level 3, that can actually go toe-to-toe with the Rubik and when it just comes to burst damage, right? Rubik usually trades really well with people because he's like, Fade Bolt, right click, right click, right click. Ooh, they're getting aggressive. Crystallize, he pops a meta, tosses him back into Zibe here. It's going to be a close call, but it's looking like Zibe's going to go down first because of the Oracle.
Yeah, that's exactly what you see. That's the level 3 Oracle. And when you... Oracle is best when it comes to... Oh,
not gonna heal him. Up enough. Okay, two. Nice. Aye, okay. Well done.
Whenever you look at Navi's lineup, you have to understand that Pasha is who they built this whole team around. But drafts, I think it's really important for them to enable him, and so far they did that.
It is. Tackle shot into the Blood Right. He gets in the way of things, but still a hefty amount of damage done there. Maybe part of maybe Bloodseekers is able to deal with the Stick Snake a lot better than anticipated. You know, if he just doesn't take enough damage that he's able. That's always the problem with Bloodseeker, right? You have to threaten him enough to back away from the creep wave. Otherwise, he's not like he's constantly going to be healing up, especially with which now just giving you free health.
And you can't do it in this lane. It's fine. This is it. The raid and Ring of Protection naturally has a lot of armor. And you buy more. It's not the case it's going to be able to harass constantly. You can try, but like you said.
Chessie waited for the Fate's Edict to fall down there, but didn't have enough damage to be able to bring down Ilias. Pylai die. Coming in with a haste rune. Not much you could do.
Should be careful here.
Yeah, this is gonna run out here in a second. And Young G's gonna have to like, it's gonna be too long of a chase, right?
You can't even use Flame there, right?
Yeah.
He has that enchant. He'll slow you, he'll dispel it. Yeah, just go back to the lane.
Yeah, this Enchantress has a lot of good things, right? There's so many good dispels here, and then on top of that, you get the Terrorblade illusion as well.
She has a lot of good things. At the same time, there's a lot of burst coming from Navi. And at one point, this Ranger can just follow you with her ultimate, right?
Yeah.
She doesn't care about untouchables, so... Pylai die early on, we'll have a very easy game. Later on, it can get a little bit rough.
seeing a lot of teams do this right now. The Siege Wagon push into the mid lane, trying to make a heavy rotation, sometimes just one support or two, and other times we like safe lane cores rotating over even just to ensure a good half amount of damage. Jesse, though, got to be careful not overextending himself because Navi certainly are going to defend the tower as there are no novice to this. They've done it themselves a few times. You can see 5 heroes.
Yeah. That's a lot of heroes committed, however. That's everything you have when it comes to Navi. That means Doom is free farming and pressuring your tier 1. Luckily enough for them, Medusa, yeah, he's farming, but he wasn't able to really threaten the tower or claim it a little bit at least. Top, however, it's gone.
Yep. So I thought for a second maybe they're going to use the meta to try and threaten mid tower to like force rotations over. But instead, our Terrible just focusing on his own farm right now. Probably wanted out of that top lane anyway, as the Doom was going to be picking up his level 6 quite soon.
I wouldn't mind if that, but that you're thinking about the grand scheme, you're still investing heroes on the same lane for a prolonged period of time, and you won't even get that tower. So it's better for TB to just go back and farm.
Sure. We've got some heroes being picked up here. Bloodseeker and both of our off-laners, Doom and Bloodseeker.
Wait, the Doom?
I thought so. I was like a little bit taken aback. Maybe I missaw it though. Can we keep him? Oh yeah.
Something's flying to him.
Out
it's drums or veil?
Yeah, everybody goes drums, so I was like, oh, it's a little weird. Maybe I just need glasses.
Yeah, the drums have been hurt. No one really knows which item to buy. That's right.
Yeah, you're missing 2 extra stats. It's like good item. It's just individually it feels a little worse, right? Team fight wise, great top. Pull back here with the telekinesis. Pasha, it's probably going to be down here. Dillips doesn't have his level 6. In fact, he'll already used his fate beating to try and help the Bloodseeker. Gets run down by Doom pretty easily, and they're going to get the mid tower here. 5 men. Getting a lot of early objectives.
It's confirmed, it's still, by the way, the Doom. And I like this quite a lot. When you think about Doom, like, he benefits quite a bit from that item. It's pretty solid.
Nice-tation. I like that. Just moving into the triangle, and then as a result, they get the Ember Spirit kill, but I feel like that was more just to, like, kind of take over that ancient area, see if the TB's around here, push him out, make sure he's not getting farmed.
That ward as well is so important for them. When you think about it, you have this Tiny. He will have a very early dagger, he's gonna get it, right? He should have it at least. And once he gets that, he can solo the TB even if TB is like on 60% HP. One jump with the full maxed out nuke, you get that TB. He has high armor, but not a lot of HP.
Free Blood Right Steel. Misery, though, is going to be ruptured up here, standing inside of his own Blood Right. The Ember Spirit's going to commit for kill, though, and don't think there's anything they can do to stop this on the other side of things, though. Tiny, I think he tried to get aggressive a little bit, but couldn't do enough damage. He's going to be cutting over here. Doesn't get hit by the Blood Right, though, so he's good. 4 heroes here from Navi, but a 3,000 net worth lead, and on top of that, I think one of my favorite things about Medusa Lizard, it is one of those very, very strong, you know, BSJ may hate me for this, but dead lane heroes in the idea that it is a hero that you plant in a lane and you don't feel good about rotating into it, right? Life's Juggernauts, Medusas. You don't feel the greatest about trying to get that gank in order to open up that tower. Rotation from Jesse is going to be able to find Pasha, and it's a freebie.
Yeah, that's why this tier 1 on the bottom lane is still standing. Not only because of that, because if you think about Navi and how this draft is supposed to work at the moment, it's mostly about getting pick-off and kills. You don't really have any tower-taking capabilities. Terrorblade, he needs to join if you want to take an objective, which is a little bit problematic for Navi right now.
Yeah.
I like this trail overall on Doom. The only problem is also the movement speed, right? The drums are pretty good when it comes to that.
Yeah. 5 men trying to protect Jesse here is just going to get gone on, and nobody's around. That's fine, I think.
Trying to protect by running back deeper.
Yeah, I just watched the people in the jungle and everybody's like, never mind, Jesse.
Yeah, Jesse is the only one that has been on the receiving end of these Navi pickoffs, right? On the mid lane, but he's also the one that's playing the deepest on the map, in those zones, the red zones I call them, the ones that are the most difficult to play in. However, I would like to see Fireman give him some safer space, just so he can finish off that dagger.
Yeah.
Once he finishes that dagger, it's much easier for him to play wherever he wants to.
So they finally do get their first tower on the side of Navi. They take that safe lane, which, you know, you kind of expect to see. Eventually, teams are just going to eventually give that up, even if they protect it initially. And this coincides with the Medusa completing that Midas. So she was just kind of like, guys, I almost have my Midas. I don't want to fight right now. This item timing is really important.
Even if we defend, there's that 20% chance I die defending. That delays the Midas for a minute and a half. It's not worth it.
Yeah, and all important, right? Up against a Terrorblade who very likely is going to pick up speed and stay ahead of you because it's an illusion hero. It's very hard to keep up with an illusion hero when it comes to net worth. But if you are on an even net worth, Medusa is going to feel really good in a one-on-one matchup.
It's a funny matchup overall, historically.
Yeah.
Versus Medusa. It has changed a lot throughout the years. So that would have shackled me. If I was eBay, it would shackle some tree around, or it would shackle the bloody outpost, I swear.
Sounds like some regular Dota excuses. Make up for the lack of drums mobility. Our Doom's just going to be trying to get the Blink Dagger as quick as possible after the Veil, which allow him to get those good initiations onto Ember Spirit or the TB. One problem he has to worry about, though, and I always hate this about Doom versus Oracle matchup, is that you feel like you're so countered by the hero, and sometimes you have to Doom the Oracle at the start of a fight instead, not just, you know, dooming a 5 position.
And now when you get to Blink Daggers on the side of 5 men, you'll also work with Tiny, so you will communicate in these team fights. One jumps the Oracle, the other jumps the target that's necessary.
Right.
That's a core that's necessary to take down, and I think you can work around it. But Oracle, yeah, definitely, I agree, is a little bit hard to play against as Doom.
And did we talk about Enchantress versus Oracle too? Those dispels are really strong, right? We got Fate's Edict as well as Purifying Flames. You can take down the healing aspect. Even when he pops his ultimate on somebody, you can take away that healing, which results in a significant amount of loss.
Yeah, it's pretty good. That's why something like a Shadow Demon, even though it's countered in the lane, is considered one of the better heroes versus Oracle later on as the game progresses. But so far, so good. I would say for both of these teams, they're playing like the way they would like to. I don't think Navi could have expected, okay, maybe a little bit of a better late stage, but you really don't have overtaking capabilities. That's one tier 1 for now is good enough. I'm just not sure how Steve versus Medusa soon. See?
Chassis, because he was silenced, didn't feel comfortable even with his allies behind him.
Yeah, Pasha is the one looking for mech, for Beeves even.
Yeah, we've I'm always kind of curious here because it just seems like everyone with they go the Veil. And I've been trying to think, like, is there other offensive options for Bloodseeker past that? Because then everyone just goes Greaves afterwards. Everyone just goes normal, like, off-lane sort of sustain items.
Yeah, when you think about what you're supposed to be doing as the offlaner overall in the game, right? Your role in the game it's pretty much full utility, so why not go full utility when it comes to the item build as well? Something like Yules, I suspect wouldn't be that bad if your team is lacking you have a couple of fruits, if nothing else, in the shackle shot.
I'm curious to see if anybody will try rushing the Aghanims there faster after you get, it seems like everyone gets it as a third eye of haste. He's going to get off the haste here, but he is in big time trouble. He does have enough mana to be able to keep home, and they are out disabled. So that is a pretty big smoke gank that goes awry here for Navi. Young G's going to give up just yet, misses out on the catch there on Misery, which would have led into the Blood Roar. Instead, he's the Bill and Jesse strikes, able to get his crystallized, cutting through behind the tower here. Field jump away, but jump fast enough. He'd still the remnants. The toss back though, gonna crystallize into the Doom. Now with the meta, he can fight back here, but he's gonna be so much damage with the Oracle to be able to bail out. Will eventually die. Papa trying to go for the deny is now up next on the chop block. Fortunately, it's fast enough. He just goes the other direction, and 5 men who are looking for the kills onto Navi weren't able to get it. 6,000 net worth lead, but very even odds here on the EB.
Yeah, so I was talking just before the smoke happened. I was talking about the disables not got. They do have some. They're all telegraphed, and because of that, Medusa finds it simple to just use her it out. But that's the problem that I really do see again with Navi's traps. You don't have those instant disables. You don't have Ruby clips, right? You don't have fissure, nothing like that. Time jumping in and comboing you down. That can be problematic when you're doing these kind of plays. I need to. It's hard to say. It looks like they need to just fight around objectives. At the same time, they don't have objective heroes. Besides Terrorblades. It's a difficult route to execute overall.
Terrorblade, like you're talking about, like Terrorblade is such a commitment, right? To going for a tower and you can just easily be rebuked by this Medusa standing in front of the tower going, okay, try and go through me, see what happens. It feels like Navi, which is why they try to make this big smoking. They popped them easily to that tower, but because it was drawn out, they didn't kill them, then things get bad.
As well, I like that ZA in the end didn't for the big baby.
Okay.
When you have a hero that's going to initiate for tiny, sometimes the kid is just redundant. You don't need it. You're so fast as Doom because you score certain phases. It doesn't have drop, but you're all maxed out anyway.
That's not the move feat. No,
No, it's not. You did take it.
What is the other one?
Plus 3 seconds.
Okay.
Plus 3 seconds of zone.
Yeah. It's fun. I thought, like, what I really like about Doom right now is compared to the previous batch, you can get both the score talents. And I think that's so strong.
But the thing is, that's how, especially not 3. I was sure it was 3.
It might have been. I think it actually was a level 15 talent when it was 3 seconds or something.
It could be that. In any, like you said, score talents are really good. At the same time, the talents on the opposite side of those talents are also really good. It's one of those heroes that's kind of spoiled when it comes to talents because your level 15 talent on the other side of the score talent is gold, GPM, 120 on your Devour.
It's pretty big.
Yeah, it's pretty big. If you're having a bad game, that's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
You just go for that.
Yeah, I'll just depend. Yeah, right, there is wealth of options. Doom because he can decide if he wants to be more of a mid-game threat with the double scorcher talent or to be more of like build into sort of a late game Doom, which the Valor bonus gold really helps out in that. Or if you're having bad, you need to recover. You know, plenty of options here, and it feels like NAVI don't really have a whole lot of options right now. Down 7 now to 5 men, and mostly just playing for farm on Terrorblade. That's about it. They haven't really been able to crack 5 men just yet, and really takes important objectives like that mid tower.
I hate to agree with Steve, but the immersion on this Wind Ranger right now feels like a range creep. Give this range creep a vessel and he's gonna do as much as immersion at the moment. Like, I'm being a little bit too harsh on him, definitely. But he needs this blink. He needs it. His team needs to have this blink because it's only the Ember that's able to get front and just chain someone. But that's not gonna stop a Medusa from using her ulti.
Yep.
That's not gonna stop a Doom from PKBing, Tiny comboing you down. They need that blink as soon as possible.
And it definitely feels like a primary reason why 5 were able to gain so much ground is that they did have a mid laner who was able to pick a blink there and have like very clear opportunities. Most of NAVI, he opens a few kills, they start taking some is to get more map control. That just kind of leads to a net worth advantage here. Now he's still doing, I think, what here's the act when you're in this position where you can't break objectives. We saw them do very well in that regard, where they just kind of like hold up on their side, stacks and stacks.
It's always that's a team. There's a thing that needs to be studied in the game. They will study it. They will get it done. You know how a team stacks, where a team will. All the other teams gonna nail them. Like scaling.
Blink Dagger now. So not only does he have the follow through, that's what I love about it. It gives you the follow through, right? You do something and you pop your BKB, and you can actually feel confident you can run them down. Yeah. Whereas without that, maybe something you get disabled, there's too much magic damage or something.
Exactly, that's what BKB really allows you to do. You don't. There are items that are good, other items that are good for Doom, but after BKB, like that BKB as the second item is almost always the best choice. Blink, BKB, or BKB Blink.
One thing about this is a very much all single core lineup for Navi. Yep. I think with the Blood Rage amp a TB with an Oracle behind it, making this TB, sure, 3,000 network behind them do stuff, but with the ability behind him, it may actually be much scarier than you said. Burn now they're going to 4 versus 5 after a pot.
That's actually cool. They're playing single core versus, let's call it a single core versus Zibe's though. Can be problematic.
Yeah, certainly. Zibe, he's going to be up. I'm canceling hit, but see, toss back once into the hair play, trying to get out of the mission. He lives in there with a state, but he's taking so much. He's not going to get it out of here alive. And yeah, I mean, the Doom, well, he got countered by the Rupture, but Jesse Duke, he had his eyes on the one person who matters most in this team fight.
Yeah. When you look at it, he has a blink, right? Well, now that's really good. Like when you consider that Navi is all about buffing up the Stevie, that blink to get the top now to use that. He didn't do it in that bad. Don't get me wrong, but still, it gives you a good option.
Yeah.
Maybe a link on someone on the side of Navi. Maybe Young G is buying it. I went orb over there already.
Dude, it's so scary. The fight went really bad for Navi, right? It hit a certain timing. Okay, it's good time. Ace didn't have his MKB before. So now he's got MKB against some evasion of a Terror Blade. He's pumping out way more damage than he did last night.
Yeah, but we're just seeing. I know analysts overall don't like to talk a lot about drafts. We're just seeing some in this Navi's lineup in which they weren't able to even trap the one for 24 and the tier 1 tower still standing from Radiant. How are you going to smoke? Where are you going with it? You're always going to run into one of the pools, and both of them are bad targets for you.
I feel like watching some of these where the Immortal teams are against each other, you can see a difference in priority that really shows what. I think Flight of Moon versus Into the Pajamas was actually an example of that, where Flight of Moon, like from my understanding of the meta right now, they had like a better idea of like what objectives we're going to take, and as a result, I felt like they had more win condition, or actually be their games. But
I agree with you completely. I think I was expecting that to over, and the game they lost, they were too confident. They were firing way too hard throughout the game. Oh, just to people play really well.
Yeah, there's of course a good team. Yes. There's no. Did you see that? Like, God, that I thought that was godly. Yeah, I saw it. Calls out Vidotz and from he's like all those players thought he stood for not in playoffs. What a fool you are. They are technically done. Yeah, they're in division playoffs. I thought that was godly.
I like his Twitter. It's.
Yeah, like, you know, players that are able to put out a personality like that, you know, cool. If you're playing the heel, you know, like, you know, that's one thing. If you're able to play more like what Vincere, or in that case, like with that, like more, you know, like clowning on yourself, like personality you put out there, people are going to be interested. Like, what were your players?
Why do people watch Tier Dota? It's not only about godly plays. It's about the well, the circle, you know about them, you've followed them, you see you follow all these players.
Yeah, if you're following them, and you like, maybe, you know, maybe they don't put themselves up at best, but you do eventually get to they are.
Exactly, and if you're a Tier 2 team and you're not winning, people have to get to know you somehow.
Yeah.
So why not at least your personality out there? It will make your games more interesting for everyone, and you will have more viewers, and people will take you more serious. Not because of that. I just think more players.
Sure.
Structures are fortified.
That's why it was really cool when GG, like they do their like little smack talk, or we're out of you know and stuff. It takes a certain like, in a way, like some people do that you know, but I feel like more likely you're willing to let your ego take in that situation because you're putting yourself out there to be clowned on. Preemptively, Mr. OG, and then you get you know, like you know that's a possibility. You know people are going to be clowning on you, but it was interesting.
Okay, you might be a clown, but you'll be the most known clown in town. It's a win-win situation for them. Come on.
Well, you know who's coming to town right now? It's the 5 men and Ace in the front now. Already taking down that tier 3. And even though they don't have the Scotty, they're like, got this Aegis. Let's see if we can get used to it. They kind of force NAVI back inside their base and say, okay, good enough.
Yeah. It's easiest team to push high ground, you know? But once you have that Aegis, obviously you're not really as much. You have to be a little bit careful. Stevie will stand behind his Rancid, won't be able to get on top of him, to top him out. This is an important item for the team. He did get that Lincoln's, but I think he's gonna pop it on Crystallize overall.
Yeah. Do you think Young G is gonna try and use the Lincolns more on the TB, or is he gonna be greedy and protect himself?
That's actually interesting because TB has meta already up, and all his options, if you really want to use it on him, right?
Yeah,
He'd rather keep it. We saw what happened in the last fight.
Yeah, it is kind of weird. It's like normally TB is not a hero he's very threatened by Doom, but in losing teams, him not having a Sunder is devastating. In a winning team fight, well, it doesn't make a difference. He'll just right-click a hero at that point. So it does come down to some decision making and what you think is going to be the priority here. NAVI. Aegis is not the best opportunity they're going to have, but it comes in as some critical items are making their way to 5 men. They have the Aghanim Scepter on Tiny, and I think the Scotty was done for Medusa, or at least it's very close.
I think it's done. Yeah, it's completed.
Oh, and you got level. That is a big power spike for Medusa as well.
Yeah, Ace is running after him. He's trying to give him that telescope. He's running away. It's also a option for Robin. Or entrance. Still can carry it.
Yeah.
It comes to items, it's one of the best ones for these heroes. But more, so you don't care which one of these two carries it. It's still good.
I like this. This is very cool. NAVI putting up this trap on high ground here, triangle, because you don't really expect people to just kind of be sitting there. It's going to be if it's the Medusa who runs up that area, then you're probably happy with that.
And it's not so weird because just simple elimination. If you look at the wards from Radiant, no one on the right side.
Yep.
If no one is on the right side and no one is defending the rack, which are being attacked right now by the creeps, you can kind of get where they are. You don't have to be mathematician.
Yeah, just kind of hold out around your tier 1 tower. And eventually they go for a smoke themselves here. Pushing in that lane now. About this because they instantly break the smoke and try and pulls away. They still manage to do a lot of TV. The men at the same time, the two kind of come in quickly buys Ace though. Scotty swing against these heroes. TV go down so much. To the Doom. And now he's gonna be able to get off the Thunder. Bring it a little bit more man. He's trying to get away with that extra movement speed. Young G. Gonna catch the Scepter, top out. Jesse trying to protect. It's coming soon, and Asha. Well, hero means nice catch on it. Jesse as well. And then stop him. That NAVI might still be able to turn the game around. Win.
Damn, good job, NAVI and Zay. You can't criticize anymore. When you think about it, the Titans and the Halberd, so much resistance. That doesn't really last long enough for to win in these team fights. Overall, that was really greedy from 5 men. Way they did.
They took it 3 and back, right? Did take that full lane of Eric's at bottom during that fight? I know pushing it, but like...
It wasn't only creeps. Well, it was only creeps. from those creeps was enchanted.
Oh, okay.
There was that as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, you take a team fight, but you just lost your side. Oh, that doesn't feel great.
Yeah.
I think you're happy that you still took that fight. I think it's good for your morale coming into the late game as well, and coming into these rush fights that are about to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it proved you can actually win a team fight. A big part of that is being able to stall out the Doom. TV was able to, like, he spent a good amount of time already. In those last few seconds, he was getting the Oracle ultimate Doom away. He was able to get off Sunder. That second life meant he was able to stand toe-to-toe with the Medusa and actually beat her out.
The question is, do you still go TB or do you switch your priority? If you don't doom the TB, you'll still still have to retreat.
Yeah.
I think the way you fight this is you try to toss him closer to you, and then you just thwart him.
That has been the win situation for man in all these fights, is that Chassis has been able to get a nice toss back on the TB after the Doom. Another thing is we could probably do a better job trying to hunt down it. Is what Misery was looking for, and they have the dust for the reveal. Poor Enchanter just
because of the TB. You know, that's what you said as well. Hey, you want to jump in and talk back. That's just this is bad.
Goes up the middle, that one of the Enchantress and not start retreating. You could see Ace doesn't really take that much damage, stands pretty tall here, and still has the stone case to work with. NAVI, this is bad because now comes up.
It's up in 20 seconds. This was really bad for the new. Think about it. Committed the meta, down, killed, Enchantress died before, and you forced the buyback. But now Roshan is free game for 5, and you need to fight around it somehow.
Especially Scotty versus Scotty, right? It's gonna look, your TV and mid lane farm's gonna look so bad against the Musa team fight compared to that ring.
I was about to flame the antagonists.
Yeah.
It's really good here, don't get me wrong. It makes you play a little different. You don't have a KB, so you're not really jumping in and hitting a target. You're staying back and trying to utilize the potential of that axe. And because of that, they're differently as a team. However, it's working out, so who cares?
I think that's a really good point, Lo. You change your play style. That could be working really for you. They're coming over his eyes, taking a bit, they get them off on him. He's behind his TV though, so they should be perfectly fine. Can kind of reset 60 seconds until is up, and you kind of wonder here what is going to be the result of it. They don't have meta.
But they don't have Doom.
Don't have Doom. Are you willing to take a melee versus melee team fight against Medusa over this rush?
I think it's easy for 5 men to just put the Medusa inside with Enchantress, right? And throw and just answer the aggression from NAVI, but it's like they're run.
For now, NAVI want to see inside this bit that, like you said, the Enchantress and you aren't taken down by themselves. Beginning to get damage on a chassis, the Saganum's build will look a little bit better when it comes to the DPS output. Butterfly complete 4. So always a really like in this matchup because TD.
KB.
No, you don't want to KB, so you're gonna feel about that. I almost wonder if he's at just a straight up divine rapier.
I actually queued up him. Queued up KB on TB. Yeah. That is. I won't mind him just completing the list as well. But, yeah, you need that to be that.
Doing it right now, constantly to the bottom lane to keep it those creeps from your force.
It's annoying though. So annoying to have to do that. I mean, you fight to defend it. Well, you did, but the creeps got it in the end.
TB The meta's up, and they just pulse right in, and 5 men.
React.
They may react. Maybe too low. Jesse could have. It's almost dead. Fast if you want to stop this, yeah, Natus is going to raid the pitch in. But next, you can get the kill onto Rogue John, but obviously the important thing is picked up so much. And on the rupture, nothing to do for another 12 seconds. They give up the other, even if they have the Aegis, the other cores on this. That and Zippe, he just walks away. He gets stone gate up, finish him off. He's going to get up, and he's to work with. You can see Fine instead he just took the other cores of the TP by himself.
Yeah, as well.
Yeah.
And bought back for what?
Why? I think he thought that 5 men were gonna like keep going. Like, oh god. I mean, you need to take this fight.
Yeah, I can respect it because they still have Doom, right? So they could possibly pursue, even being so low, we still could go for a hump. But it's so hard when you're playing draw, those TB kind of drafts. Who's got high round really benefits so much because it's difficult for TB to stay at the low ground and hit anyone there. Because vision, nothing. Let's talk about the missions.
Yeah.
It's Doom was surviving for such a long time. You can't take him down 2.6 HP. BK, if you want him, you have to pump everything.
Fortified. Dire's top tower is under attack.
Part of the game.
Yeah, 8 from the low ground is just gonna be able to take that tier 3. And I do have a DD on Crystallize Enchant. You can easily take that away from you, and you still have the problem of your melee here against Medusa. And that'll die. I mean, just Medusa. It's gonna be another slug you have to win, as you can see.
The moment you agonist, I think in bit his style is completely different now. He's sitting in the back and just tossing those to. I think this game, it really comes to take fights. That's so important for both of these teams.
Where are you going?
Tier 4, are out. Both teams free to their side of the map and try and farm them up. I mean, you almost have level 25 Medusa there. Is or like, what is it, 1,000 mana, right?
Yep.
The other one is the modifier. So which is really good with Scotty.
800 mana. Got hit by nerfs.
Yeah.
Who took the spell prism on the side of NAVI? I wonder. When it comes to these new items, some of them are really big. KNG is carrying the spell prism. The leveler, obviously, on the Medusa on the other side.
Don't run off.
They have their MKB. They want to go. Man, victory, jumping in, stole the blood rage sheet a little bit. He's getting caught by Crystallize. The Glimmer Cape's not going to be in time to save him. There's the amount of damage to the Duke. Closed off onto the Emperor Beard here. Jump in from Jesse, make the initiation on Crystallize. It's really threatening here. Zibe's just going to walk through this, take the ruptured bitch, and you can see Jesse covering his tracks there. But that was the first showing of this MKB from TB, and you could see Medusa making some serious damage there.
They're still facing this problem despite they used the boom, but they follow up afterward. I think the biggest issue in that fight was that Rubik died, and now the Tiny playing the moment doesn't really complement this dude jumping in and anyone.
Yeah.
Don't have any catch, you don't have anyone to follow you up and paint the target in the spot.
Time, Navi, they're done with that. Get 8, stay in meta, they find them done. We gotta do something. Doji is like, we're gonna take a team fight, keep my stone gaze in my back pocket. I'm gonna run at your base, and what you can do about it.
And they will have a Satanic as well. That's so big. against this one, at this point, all about these first stations and where you take your fight, where you choose to fight. It's so easy for 5 men to park your truck. If you put this ace on the low, you can take access towers.
Okay.
Time can't complete.
Did I have that satanic? I just wondered if that means they're not going to go buyback anymore. But honestly, like, I'm not sure what not do if Ace just high ground in that top lane and start hitting the melee bear. They don't have meta for the TB, but at this point it seems like, man, they're kind of like what's been doing us for the last 15 minutes is they're okay with the state of the game. They feel confident. They don't really need to make moves. It seems like they're saying, we're good. We're just gonna keep getting bigger over time here. We're comfortable in late game against you guys, and we will naturally wait for our advantage.
That's big as well. Crystallizes Plus, I think, just got assassinated in that courier.
Oh no.
So the courier was buying the recipe, so he won't have that recipe if he buys Demon Edge.
He can beef up for chess ace, so he might feel a little bit more comfortable getting in there with the initiation and then getting back down. He also has the Minotaur Horn there as well.
And like you said, I don't think 5 men are that worried.
No.
They have still room to grow. You're playing versus a TB, but you have this thing as well that can show a couple of more. Then suddenly that treat that he's using in every is going to wipe your team.
Yeah, and this is why, you know, earlier I kind of referred to it as a single core lineup. This is going to be off the back of the TB. December Spirit and Bloodseeker just aren't going to scale quite as well. And like, hell, even Doom, right? You can get himself Magnum Scepter, which is a big item, especially with level 25 talent. Rubik, once again, is going to be the first one in and first one out of a team. To get the rupture on his Zibe, which, again, they're just trying to retreat to this high ground, it looks like. Ace, holding up the stone, Ace keeps thinking about it, finally gonna pop it. Navi quickly disengaged, though. He cannot fight into Stone Gaze. We got that out of him. We still have some meta to work with here. I wonder if, like, what are they going to do with this timing? Are they keep farming?
They can't really do anything, can they? They can perhaps take over a little piece of the map that has been taken from them. By jungle, they can ward it up, they can prepare for the next Roshan, perhaps take that outpost, but that's it. You can't really pressure the last 2 remaining tier 2s or the high.
Like, both team, I think Navi 100% loses every team fight. They try and go high ground against 5 men. You have some abilities used or whatever because of buybacks, right? 100% they lose the fight. 5 men, another thing that making them skittish about going high ground themselves is we can take them 5-on-5. Can we take them 5-on-5 on a low ground against buybacks so it would be 5-10 for all we know? You know?
Yeah, that's always a problem, pushing high ground, how you take it. You need a couple of calls, probably, or at least take that ace and cheese that's coming up in 1.5 minutes. I think that's the play now. If you're Medusa, even though you have MKV, you Trosh, you buy the Rapier at the same time, or you buy the items.
See, again, getting hit by the rupture, tossing away the illusion to save himself some grief. Other than that, oh, Misery jumping forward, steals one run, but weren't able to get enough to disable to really catch hurt, and he slides away back to the base successfully. Roshan up in 50 seconds, so 5 men. You know they're not going higher. If they weren't going to do it before, they should absolutely not do it right now.
Yeah, this is the worst time to go for high ground. Like, even if you get the pick off, it's possible that it works out well, don't get me wrong. The chance of them buying back, wiping you, and taking rush are extremely high at this point. See, and it's queued up by the Terrorblade. You can spam embers, but it's very far.
On the high ground, he was trying to teleport, I think. Immersion leaves a little bit more damage. Oracle taking just in the nick of time. The Immersion going to receive enough heals? It probably is, but Ace is just going to continue pushing forward here. Taking down the illusions, the it's going out on both sides with the Rubik stealing one of them. And Ace, Heaven's Halberd, get quickly there thanks to this state. Raining down some damage. Go for the initiation on the Doom there. Crystallize. Even a free Jesse kind of stopped out here. The Avalanche goes down. Tells me he's pulled back his TV. He's low. The Link trying to protect him. He gets off the bus before Doom can go out. TV on the second line instantly gets blown up by Insect and close it off. There was just way too much damage. Sibe finds the extra kill on the Ilias and need to use the meta, and they're still going to be forced to a buyback. I don't think, and the Roshan threat, like the threat of losing a fight and losing Roshan, I don't think that's very real anymore.
That's a buyback without meta, so not really be able. I'm not really sure. You have buyback. Don't get me wrong. To try and defend your last two. Rex.
Telekinesis catch. Pull back in with Scott. Follow-ups on there. Centaur stun. Centaur down and retreats. And they actually pursue here. It's going to be up to try and keep them going too far, but
They got to this now with the courier and go back. I actually thought moved into that high ground fight when meta was popped. I thought they might even disengage. Okay guys, we pop meta, Rush is about to spawn, let's just go take it and then slowly finish off game. But that's a lot of discipline and it's difficult to engage now at that point. So they stood the spot and they fought well. Or not having that ulti really hurt Natus, because if you are playing this or like we're harping on about, you need to save that false promise for him, not for the Wind Ranger. How deep and how far he's been caught out.
You just want to retreat. Don't try and save it. Don't heal.
Exactly.
It's not worth it. Like getting so much fun on this game. He's watching support Wind Ranger, 10th away an Oracle ultimate that is all important for a TB. I understand exactly what Ilias did. You know, you're just in like the split second decision-making mode where you're just like, you see a come here, you throw it out there, but ultimately, like, what was American able to do with an extra life?
Nothing. He had to run back.
Yeah.
If he lands some sick shackle, then we're not talking. We're not talking.
Dick Shackles. That just read on Pylite time with very low commitment with the telekinesis. TP up on the high ground here. That's been troublesome. So look at him, he's getting wiped apart. Sunder and Oracle both go for the rips into the top. But can he deal with this Medusa? The permanent that is constantly emerging. Doesn't get that Shackle shot onto the field. They're doing something sideline. He gets the stone. He's on the Ember Spirit. He got stuck in place. And it just happens to any of these cores.
Yeah, it's our boy. He does a buyback. Your Medusa is ready to go uphill. He doesn't even have both. He's 7 slotted at the moment. They won't even go for Rush, it looks like. There's a buyback number, which you will have to use. But what can Ember do in the situation? Not a lot, I'm afraid.
Here it is, Ace. He is the turtle.
Can we say that into going on an entrance?
Yeah, I mean, because they got the time.
Yeah.
He beat the high ground. It would have been a nice clean kill, but really good play. And Vincere able to pull him back, and that is going to be them down to tier 4s. But they were kind of very all. Shackle! And that's just dead. Oh my!
Yeah.
Remember that. People remember that thick shackle he hit.
I think I think he'd be happier if he didn't even hit that one. First definitely worth it. Yeah.
Total time, no matter how much the front stop, can't even go back to the mid and it 51 but slow and steady to win the race for 5 men.